Now also, diving into the XLM price chart, I wanted to share this because we're looking at all the historical data, and we'll go over XRP's price chart right after this. You can see this. Back in 2014, the high to the low before it took off in 2017, the beginning of one of the first alt seasons ever seen. This is what I call an accumulation zone. And you can see, perfection. What's up guys, Kevin Cage here with another cryptocurrency update. I hope everybody's been well. I missed you guys. It's been about 4 to 5 days since my last upload, so let's kick it off. In today's video, we're going to go through some altcoin news. I also want to highlight a few crypto price charts and share my big picture outlook of this market, and really just sharing some basic rules of thumb, such as when I'm looking at a crypto price chart, the XRP price chart, any asset, how do I go about deciding when I'm comfortable dollar cost averaging or accumulating said asset? And when do I consider staggering sells out or cutting losses altogether? So I'll be sharing that and really just my overall outlook for the cryptocurrency market. All right, first things first, we have Bitcoin 2022 or Bitcoin Miami coming up quickly, less than 1 month away, starting April 6th to the 9th in Miami Beach Convention Center. Highly recommend checking this out. I know that my buddy Daniel Martin over at iTrustCapital will be attending. And this will be linked in the top of the video description for anybody that is yet to create a free account on iTrustCapital. I've had a Roth IRA here with iTrustCapital in crypto for almost 2 years at this point. We know this company was just recently, after additional funding, pushes their valuation over $1.3 billion. And after you fund your account, you also get $100 in free Bitcoin, and the mobile application is on the way for 24/7 trading. The reason why I push this all the time is because there are massive tax advantages for iTrustCapital. Right now, if you're killing it in the world of trading or anything in between, you're still paying short-term or long-term capital gains, whether that be 15%, 30%, or even 40% altogether when all is said and done. So I have these tools going for me because I have crypto in this wallet, and what am I doing? Everything that is traded is tax-free entirely. So when I make $1 million in my IRA, I keep $1 million. I'm not paying $300,000 or even $400K in taxes. I know you guys know this platform, but highly recommend checking this out, linked in the video description with a variety of crypto assets. And remember, the reason I'm bringing this up is because the deadline for your 2021 contributions for your individual retirement accounts is 1 month away, April 15th. So if you have a kid in their 20s or even 18, one of the best things that you can do, and this is not financial advice, but this is what really helped me, is getting an IRA. Whether it starts off in the stock market, get some crypto exposure now because iTrustCapital has no monthly fees. I think of it like this, as a Coinbase, except it can be for 401ks or an individual retirement account. You want to plant a variety of seeds and you want to have a variety of nest eggs to bank on. And in my opinion, I believe that cryptocurrency offers some of the highest asymmetric returns in this entire space. So nothing's guaranteed, never go all into any asset class, but I believe that crypto, specifically with assets that are future-proofing and the assets that will be here to stay, is probably going to have 10 times better performance than most stocks, specifically index funds. In a 10-year time frame, I'm betting on crypto. First big piece of news that dropped today, we have the Stellar Development Foundation, also known as SDF. They launch a $30 million investment fund. I know the price action of Stellar, XLM, Lumens the token has not been fun, but the future for XLM is extremely bright in my opinion. Remember, the previous all-time high back in 2018 was over 90 cents. And I believe that Stellar, with ease, in the future reaches several dollars at the very least. We can see this $30 million investment fund will match investments into platforms that use the Stellar blockchain. This matching fund has a global remit and writes checks up to $500,000. The first investments will be into payroll, remittance, NFTs, and cross-border products. 2 of its first investments are in Latin America and 1 in Africa. Now remember, with Africa, we have to remember the company Flutterwave. When I think Latin America, I think a variety of groups such as Bitso and DLocal, based out of Uruguay. So bottom line is, do not be fooled by XLM's price action. You have to focus on the long term in this market. You have to understand which assets or projects are integrating with stablecoin networks such as USDC, US dollar coin of Circle and Center. Well, we know that XLM's involved. We know that Algorand is involved, or Algo. We know that Hedera Hashgraph with HBAR. There are huge connections with these groups. And although the price action has not been fun, I do believe that this asset does exceptionally well. XLM continues to be one of my long-term holds. It is one of the assets that has yet to create a new all-time high price and even reach some of those golden extensions that we talk about. Another one of the fund's first portfolio companies is Bitwage. This is pretty cool. Uses crypto and stablecoins to help run international payroll and invoicing more efficiently. We're going to see more of this. And if I were a betting man, which I am, I do believe that XLM continues to be in the top 50 for the next several years. Okay guys, thanks for sticking around. Now let's get into the good stuff. We're going to look at the price charts of the XRP price chart, maybe XLM, we'll look at Chainlink, we'll look at Casper, we'll look at API3, and I'm going to share my macro outlook. When in doubt, zoom out. So let's take a look at Link. Now remember, everybody likes buying an asset after it's already done, even from this low, over a 300x. Me personally, I'm just much more interested in assets that are down here in some type of accumulation structure. So, Casper, of course. Now, yeah, I know it's scary buying assets at all-time low price or even potentially at support. Could it create a new low and go to some previous levels? Anything's possible, but when I look at Casper versus the Bitcoin price chart, Ethereum, or even a stablecoin or US dollar, I am so much more interested in an asset like that is so much closer to all-time low price rather than buying an asset that has done a 300x in a matter of just 2 or 3 years. And what I mean by that is looking at Casper versus the Bitcoin price chart, sitting at basically an all-time low price. The same exact thing for Casper versus Ethereum or Casper versus the US dollar. Because the probability with an asset that has actual utility, NDAs and partnerships with Fortune 500 companies is launching mainnets. And I'm just much more interested in terms of a risk to reward standpoint of holding these types of assets and accumulating them, because long term, it has always worked out in the cryptocurrency market in assets that are legitimate. So let's look at Chainlink for an example. So first things first, this is Chainlink's price history on the weekly chart. Its previous high from January 2018. It was in this range and did not break out and create a new all-time high for over 500 days. But what's interesting is drawing a Fibonacci retracement from the high of 2018 to the low. Swing high, swing low, we can see that we took off from the 236 and eventually reached a full 34 extension. Now, Chainlink is not the only asset that's done that. So this asset was in this range for over a year and a half before finally exploding. Imagine if you had the foresight to understand Chainlink's potential, growing partnerships, etc., and look at that 236 zone of about 46 cents, and you only bought when the asset was below this range. Now keep in mind, from its all-time high, it did in fact drop maybe 88% in total, and there's tons of volatility, but if you only bought or accumulated Chainlink when it was below 46 cents, you would be in a beautiful, beautiful profit now, even after a massive crash. And now what about API3 with the symmetrical triangle? Well, I'll show you that I am not buying any more API3 because my bags are packed. The only time I will buy more API3 is if we go below this 236 Fibonacci retracement, just like Chainlink. So remember, we're showing some very similar looks. You can see below the 236, got a nice bull flag or did in fact pop from that 236, just like Chainlink. Now, of course, every asset's going to draw differently. We can't expect all the geopolitics and everything to align, but I just wanted to show you that API3 compared to 500 days, how far are we thus far? Looking at this asset, I know people are worried, oh no, we're going to zero. This asset has been going for about 343 days, give or take. And for me, if you could simply zoom out and just wait, I do in fact believe that we hit these golden extensions and at the very least create an all-time high price. And I guarantee that every single person that understands this project has read the white paper and understands the huge partners behind this group would understand the potential and actually maybe probability of API3 reaching some of these higher levels in the future. So I will only buy more API3 when we're below the 236 under about $3.70. I know we were sharing the same thing before we popped up the $9, and that was just some crazy volatility, some exchange listings, some new integrations, all good and great, but I did not buy any API3 at $7 or $9. I don't want to ruin my average entry price. So I'm going to be continuing the DCA or buy more only if API3 goes below this level. Following API3 as well, I will not be taking profit on API3 until it hits some of my zones, creating a new all-time high price and following a variety of assets and fractals per their fib levels. And API3 is barely 1 year old, so I'm not worried one bit. I'm continuing to stake it and earn more of it each and every week, and it compounds. But looking at Chainlink, you can see that we battled through this zone of that 702 and finally got through and went all the way up to a 3618, really a double top. Came back down to power up and yet again did another break and creak all the way up to the 34 extension. Crazy. I encourage you to play with a variety of tools such as market cap of, and it doesn't have to be API3 versus Chainlink, although they are both oracles, but let's do API3 with the market cap of Link now, and Link's market cap is down a lot. That's still a 3-digit API3. And remember, I was buying Q&T at $3 to $5. It didn't surpass another all-time high for 500 days, and then boom, went to $400 plus. I have a lot of similar vibes with API3. No, it will not happen tomorrow, but I do believe the long term will be very promising. We have Q&T, another asset, as you can see right here to here, still over 500 days, did in fact reach just short of a 34 extension. Okay, what about Constellation or DAG? DAG with the fib retracement, using this as the swing high. And then we'll go swing low and drag over. Now DAG has yet to reach a full 34 extension. That would take us to over $1. But I just want to show you another asset that did in fact ride this 236 and explode. And do I believe that DAG reaches $1? Yes. So from this high, all the way until it created another all-time high price. Look at this. 980 days. And then boom. So we've seen a variety of assets reach the 34, and even this guy, closing and hitting wicks on this 8 Fibonacci extension, and yes, surpassing the 4.236. And even in the 236 zone, look at this. From the 236 all the way to its all-time low, that's almost an 88 or 90% drop. So there's tons of volatility. And the reason I'm sharing this is because I am not accumulating assets that are at an 8 or a 34. That is just too risky for me because I believe there's a high probability that there's another drop or another cup that's formed, or the asset goes into a bear market. I am accumulating assets when they are below the 236 because whether it's 50% up, 90% down, I believe that all of this range is a sweet spot for accumulation before an asset goes on a beautiful run. How is the Gala price chart done? So let's actually just use this high right here, swing high, swing low, drag it all the way over. And what do we see? Well, we can see right here, we have really almost a quadruple bottom, a triple bottom, you could say, right on this level of the 34. So it really exceeded expectations. If we use this swing high to this swing low, another cup and handle, and boom, popped right to the 4.236. Then it had a period of consolidation and then went above and beyond, almost reaching another 34. Gala has done amazing. Okay, now let's look at Polygon or Matic. Now this is a beautiful, beautiful accumulation structure. Imagine if you just had the foresight to be able to accumulate around this level before it absolutely exploded. Let's plot a Fibonacci retracement. I mean, you could see double top right here. We can just use the highest high, and then we'll go to that low. So swing high, swing low, and let's just say if, for this assumption that we only accumulated below the 236, which is what I'm doing for Casper. During this time, there was, 50% drops, so nothing too crazy. Other ranges could be 90% drops. And what happened for Matic from this low all the way to the all-time high price? It did about a 400x from the all-time low. Insane. And where did it take off from? Yet again, the 236. And then what happened? Another bull flag forming around that 702. It got through and it was game on all the way to the 4.236. In this case, doing a back test on the 8. So just following these fib levels. I mean, you can see right here again, you have a back test of the wick, you have some consolidation right here on the 21, and then reaching all the way to that 34. And I mean, if we drag this Fibonacci retracement all the way over, and I just put it on this wick right there, and you can see perfection. So I'm just showing you examples of these impulses. Now, I'm not saying every asset has to go all the way to the 34, 21, or 8, but I do believe in this zone being conservative for a lot of assets that have yet to create an all-time high price. So please, please, please look at this structure, and does it remind you of anything that Casper could be in? Whether Casper's low is a little bit lower or a little bit higher. These fractals are meant to rhyme. Here's one look with Casper versus DAG, looking at these different structures, okay? So you can see a double top, you can see a double top, you can see really a double bottom, and this is creating a new low. Very, very interesting. Now, does it have to hold? No, not necessarily. I've seen assets create a new low, and then they do a huge V-shaped recovery. Of course, DAG's was rather explosive, but I just wanted to show you the power of some of these fractals. And also, this is another example of V-chain. Notice, V-chain on the left, Casper on the right. You can see candle bodies are drawn on the fib retracement. We have boom, boom, right there, and we have a new low and then a very aggressive recovery for V-chain. I've seen this in a variety of fractals. You can go look at Cardano as well. Remember, Cardano's all-time high price back in the day was $1.30. Funny enough, that's really what Casper's registered all-time high prices, even though we have wicks at $30 or even $60. In this case, this shows about maybe a $28, $29 wick. Remember, Cardano was at 5 cents, was at 3 cents, and rocketed to $1.30. Then everybody wants to buy ADA when it's at $2 plus. I am not interested at all. I am much more interested in following the macro, looking at assets that nobody cares about. And Casper, I believe, will be that beautiful long-term hold. So this is a look at ADA. Remember, Cardano, just in case you guys don't believe me, it was under 2 cents. It went under 2 pennies and then rocketed as high as $3. So friendly reminder, I am not buying Cardano when it's creating new all-time high prices. Maybe the last time I would have considered buying it was around maybe 12, 13 cents, around that 702, using these candle bodies, of course. I could use and plot the previous all-time high and would have a different look, but just imagine if you were buying below the 236, you'd be in a beautiful profit when you did in fact wait for a nice expansion. So we're going to see how low we go for Casper. I can tell you with absolute certainty that I will continue to dollar cost average at these levels. I am personally buying Casper over any other asset while we're in this structure. If it does in fact get a big retracement back to maybe like 22 cents, then I'll consider rotating some profits into others. But right now, I am all eyes on Casper at these levels. And if we copy anything like these structures that ADA has done, that VeChain has done, history has shown us that there's usually a very sharp retracement when it does come. But remember, what did we see with Binance? We saw the screenshots. They're already working on Casper integrations with the Casper longs and shorts of 3x leverage. I've seen this a lot of times, just like you guys in the market. I know it's a very exciting roadmap. I rode, OGN for a 5x. I rode DAG for a 30x. I rode HBAR for maybe a 10, 20x. I rode QNT for technically 100x. And yes, I still hold some QNT. I've just seen this, and when I'm looking at assets that are this close to their all-time low or even creating a new low, I'm swinging the bat. So not financial advice, guys. Crypto is extremely, extremely risky. Please do what's best for you. Now, also diving into the XLM price chart, I wanted to share this because we're looking at all the historical data, and we'll go over XRP's price chart right after this. You can see this. Back in 2014, the high to the low before it took off in 2017, the beginning of one of the first alt seasons ever seen. This is what I call an accumulation zone. Turning the lights on, we can see from the high to the low, taking off the 236, reaching an 8 to perfection, an 8 Fibonacci extension, and then of course topping out and in fact reaching a 34 on a variety of time frames. You can see a back test here for support. You can see, resistance, support, resistance, etc. So wanted to highlight that. And then even if we drag it over, let's see how we're measuring up to previous levels, still obeying these fib levels, sitting on top of the 21 today. So imagine if you're looking at assets that are still in this structure, and Casper really matches it. We've seen it with Matic, we've seen it with DAG, QNT, Gala, you name it. And we can do the same thing with XLM and XRP going to their previous high because it's forming another comp to the low. Are we below the 236? Well, if you're using this high, absolutely. And if you are a long-term holder, whether it's XRP or XLM, and you can hold for the future, then yes, I'm actually comfortable buying at these prices because I do believe long-term we'll reach some of these zones of these golden extensions, if not much higher. But if you want to be very patient and potentially maximize your entries just in case Bitcoin does in fact go lower, taking the market down, you can absolutely look for other levels. And for anybody that's in XLM and maybe you're down a little bit or you're upset, keep in mind, XLM is something I'm comfortable swinging the bat on because guess what? Compared to its all-time high price, Bitcoin and Ethereum have all reached up here. XLM is still low, so you're still buying relatively low compared to most of the market. So last but not least, we have Casper, and then we have the XRP price chart on the right. And yes, I do believe that XRP still has another run. Remember, if it simply even just follows what Bitcoin or Ethereum does, it'll reach up to these higher levels as well, reaching additional golden extensions. But what I want to emphasize is that XRP, all the way back from the 2013 high to its 2017 low, went on to rally. So imagine if you were able to accumulate in this zone, where did we go? Well, like most assets, we reached a full 34 extension. Where did we actually touch so far compared to the most recent all-time high price? Look at that. And we'll zoom in again because I'm going to keep sharing this. The 34 extension. Around $1.96, $1.98. It's because these fibs do not lie on a variety of time frames. So I'm holding and sticking to my guns for Casper that it does in fact perform in due time. And I will be accumulating as long as we're under even 11 or 12 cents. And I know some people think that's super crazy and stupid, but hopefully I've shown you just a couple of examples, and I can assure you there are dozens of examples of this applying to the cryptocurrency market. You can see there could be 60% price swings. I'm going to be accumulating under 12 cents, under 10 cents, under 5 cents, of course. The idea is you want to get your average as low as possible. And the other day, I did just swap an entire Bitcoin for more Casper as well. So remember, I showed you ADA and VeChain all down here. Still a strong recovery. I've shown you XRP. I've shown you DAG. I've shown you Chainlink taking off the 236. Just a few looks. Now, let's get into some additional news. I saw Roth Economist sharing so much for Tetragon's lawsuit against Ripple and their investment back in the day. Remember that Tetragon actually tried to sue Ripple and take advantage of them while they're getting attacked by the SEC. Their 2021 annual report notes that they remain invested, supportive of Ripple's current position as well as its direction, and maintains its conviction in Ripple's prospects. Ripple generated gains of approximately $100 million in 2021. Tetragon became interested in investing in Ripple in early 2018, viewing it as attractive because XRP, the digital asset, has certain characteristics that make it more energy efficient, obviously, less expensive, more scalable, faster to use in transactions than other crypto assets, absolutely. And remember, the Ripple liquidity hub will be massive. In late 2019, Tetragon became the lead purchaser in Ripple Series C. with their preferred stock offering, acquiring $150 million of the security, the stock. So very interesting to see all of that. And remember, by Blockworks, we talk about State Street all the time. They custody 1/3 of global institutional assets. That is what, roughly $20 to $30 trillion. And they're the second largest custodian bank or, holder of wealth in the world, State Street. And they announced they're going to be offering crypto custodial services for institutions by the end of this year. But Kevin, what does that have to do with digital assets? Everything. Standard custody is massive. Remember, they actually just announced support for Solana. And who's the parent company of all of this, of standard custody? PolySign, building the future of digital assets. Secure, scalable infrastructure to fully leverage digital assets by institutions. Who started PolySign, which essentially means multiple signatures, poly and sign? Really the founders of the XRP ledger, Arthur Brito and David Schwartz. They are board members, and of course, Antoinette, who was, in fact, for Ripple Labs, the chief compliance officer. Side by side, Jack McDonald and Tim Keeney, retired vice chair of Bank of New York, responsible for custodying not 1/3, but 25% of global institutional assets. BNY is another Ripple partner. So you have these three backing Ripple and PolySign and their subsidiary, you could say, Standard Custody. What do you think happens for the future of digital assets when PolySign, even Standard Custody, already have the banking licenses out of New York, one of the most strict states? I'm a believer in ISO tokens. I'm a believer in utility. I'm a believer in innovation. And I believe that crypto assets and Web3 is going to change the game forever. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember, all links are linked in the YouTube video description, and until next time.